Alright, folks, let's talk about high blood pressure. Or, as the medical world dramatically calls it, the silent killer. And you know what? They're not wrong. It doesn't throw a tantrum, doesn't send you a strongly worded email. For many of us, especially as we gracefully, or not so gracefully, age, it just creeps. Builds up quietly, like dust bunnies under the sofa, until BM, a stroke or heart attack, decides to make a grand entrance. Not the kind of surprise party anyone wants. But here's the real kicker, the part that makes it extra devious. It's often our everyday habits that are secretly inviting it in. The little things. What you munch on, how much quality time you spend with your couch, how you handle life throwing its usual curveballs. These influence your blood pressure more than you might think. Now, many of you over 50 are absolute rock stars. You take your meds, mostly. You show up for checkups, when you remember. You try to stay active, that walk to the fridge counts, right? But lurking in those routines can be tiny, almost invisible saboteurs. Habits that seem as harmless as a kitten, but are steadily nudging that pressure up, or even wrestling with your treatment. And unless someone shines a big ol' spotlight on them, they just keep on keeping on, putting a quiet strain on your heart, your brain, your whole magnificent circulatory system. Honestly, it's a bit rude of them, and that's why we're here. Not to drown you in complicated medical gobbledygook or wag a finger. Nope, we're here to be your friendly neighborhood clarifiers, to illuminate the most common blood pressure blunders seniors make. And trust me, we've all made a few, and give you simple, actually doable changes. Whether you've been wrestling this hypertension beast for years or you're just starting to squint at those numbers on the cuff, this guide is your new secret weapon. It's about taking back control, feeling empowered, and doing it smartly. Because managing blood pressure isn't just about numbers on a gadget. It's about still being able to chase the grandkids, think clearly enough to win at bridge, sleep like a baby, a well-behaved one, anyway, and generally enjoy life with gusto. And that, my friends, starts with knowing what not to do and what brilliant things to do instead. So, let's roll up our sleeves and tackle the first sneaky mistake. One smart habit at a time. We've got this. Alright, mistake number 1. Playing fast and loose with your medications. Or, as I like to call it, creative dosing. Look, managing blood pressure often kicks off with a prescription. And these little pills? They're some of the best tools in the shed for keeping those numbers in check. But, and it's a big, but, like, I cannot lie big. They only work if you take them correctly and consistently. Point one of the most dangerous, and let's be honest, pretty common oopsies is skipping doses, taking them whenever the mood strikes, or deciding you're suddenly cured and stopping them without chatting to your doc. It seems like a small thing, right? What's one missed pill? But oh, the drama it can cause over time. Now, why does this happen? Oh, a myriad of reasons. Some of us are just plain forgetful. Where did I put my keys or my teeth? Others feel fantastic and think, clearly, I don't need this anymore. Spoiler, that often means the meds are working. Some are worried about side effects, or just don't fancy being tethered to a pill. Then there are the budget-conscious folks trying to make a prescription stretch further by playing pharmacist at home. And while these are all very human, understandable thoughts, they can lead to your blood pressure doing the cha-cha. And your heart is not amused by that dance. Your blood pressure medication isn't just a random number cruncher. It's meticulously calibrated for your body. It's about protecting your entire cardiovascular system, like a tiny, dedicated bodyguard for your heart. When you skip doses or go off-piste, your blood pressure can spike without so much as a how do you do. You might not feel a thing, but backstage, your arteries are taking a beating and your vital organs are under siege. And here's a crucial bit. Blood pressure meds often don't give you that I feel amazing sensation like some other drugs. You don't suddenly levitate with wellness. This makes it easy to think, is this thing even on? But trust me, behind the scenes, they're working tirelessly, easing the load on your heart, improving circulation, and slashing your risk of those life-altering complications. They're the strong, silent type of hero. The brilliant news? This mistake is totally preventable. First up, make medication a non-negotiable routine. Same time, every day. Become best friends with pill boxes. Set alarms that could wake the dead. Use checklists, whatever it takes. Miss a dose? Don't just wing it and double up. Call your doctor, they'll know what to do. Side effects making you miserable? Don't suffer in silence. Tell your doctor. Often, A tweak in dosage or a different med can make all the difference. And please, never, ever stop your meds just because your readings look like a supermodel's vital signs. That usually means they're working. Always, always, always talk to your doctor before changing anything. Even tiny adjustments can throw a wrench in the works. Worried about cost? Have that chat too. There are often generics, discounts, or programs. Your health is worth that conversation. Managing blood pressure is a marathon, not a sprint, but it's one that rewards you with energy, stability, and peace of mind. One pill, one day, one smart decision at a time. Your heart and your future self are counting on you. Don't let him down. Next up, mistake number 2, the hidden sodium ambush. You might think you're a saint because you've banished the salt shaker to the back of the cupboard. Bravo. But hold your applause, because most of the salt in our diet isn't what we sprinkle on top. Oh no, it's a sneaky ninja, hiding inside the foods we eat every single day. Underestimating this salty subterfuge is one of the biggest, most overlooked blunders in blood pressure management. So, why is sodium public enemy number 1 for blood pressure? Well, salt makes your body cling onto water like a limpet. More water means more blood volume in your vessels, which means, you guessed it, more pressure on your artery walls. It's like overinflating a bicycle tire. Eventually, something's going to give. Over time, this wears down your heart and can lead to all those scary things we want to avoid. And because it's a silent process, it's easy to just forget, especially when salt is hiding in everything. Packaged foods, canned soups, even the healthy ones, sauces, frozen dinners, breads, deli meats. Even your virtuous low-fat salad dressing or whole grain crackers can be secret salt bombs. It's added for flavor, sure, but also as a preservative. So light, diet, or heart-healthy labels, they might still be packing a salty punch for shelf life. And when these convenient culprits become dietary staples, sodium adds up faster than credit card debt at Christmas. For us seasoned citizens, this is even more critical. As we rack up the birthdays, our amazing kidneys become a bit less efficient at kicking out sodium. Plus, our bodies can get more sensitive to salt's effects. So, the same amount of salt that didn't bother you in your 30s might now send your blood pressure on an unwelcome trip skywards. It can also crank up fluid retention, making things like swollen legs or heart failure feel even worse. Fun times, So, how do we disarm this salty ninja? First, become a label detective. Don't just glance at calories. Hunt down that sodium content. You'll be shocked. A single serving of some canned soups? More than half your daily allowance. Aim for low sodium. That's less than 140 milligrams per serving, or no added salt options. Practical steps are your superpower here. Rinse canned beans and veggies. Go fresh or frozen, without sauces. Cook more at home. You're the chef. You control the salt. And get creative with flavor. Herbs, spices, lemon, vinegar, garlic, pepper. Your taste buds might throw a little tantrum at first if they're used to a salt fest, but they will adjust, usually in a few weeks. Soon, you'll taste the actual food, and super salty stuff will taste well, super salty, and a bit gross. Cutting back on sodium isn't about culinary deprivation. It's about choosing health, protecting your heart, and living with more energy. Every bite is a choice, a chance to nourish your well-being. Deliciously, of course. Okay, mistake number 3, playing hide and seek with your blood pressure numbers. Here's the thing, you can't feel blood pressure, not usually. Not until it's throwing a major hissy fit or causing a serious problem. That's its sneaky superpower. You could be whistling Dixie, feeling right as rain, while your BP is quietly plotting world domination inside your arteries. For seniors, one of the riskiest habits is not checking regularly, or thinking that one reading at the doctor's office once a year is good enough. Spoiler, it's often not. Without consistent monitoring, small, troublesome changes go completely unnoticed, and those can lead to big, unwelcome surprises. Truth bomb. Your blood pressure is a bit of a drama queen. It shifts all day long based on stress, sleep, what you ate, that extra slice of pizza, perhaps, how active you've been. That single reading at the docs? It's just a snapshot. A useful one, but still just one moment in time. And let's be real, sometimes white coat syndrome sends it soaring, Or you happen to be having a Zen day and it's deceptively low. That's why at-home monitoring is your golden ticket. It gives you the full movie, the trends, the real story. And that insight, it can be a lifesaver. When you don't track, you miss clues. Is your medication losing its mojo? Is that new pickle-only diet, hey, no judgment, taking a toll? Is that supplement you saw on a late-night infomercial messing with your prescription? Without regular readings, you're flying blind. And when it comes to your heart, guessing is a terrible strategy. Monitoring at home is one of the simplest, most empowering things you can do. It lets you spot patterns, catch spikes before they cause trouble, and give your doctor the juicy data they need. Plus, you're taking charge. You're not just passively waiting. You're an active participant. And no, you don't need a medical degree or a NASA-level gadget. Today's home monitors are affordable, user-friendly, even for the technologically challenged amongst us, and often have big, clear displays. The magic word is consistency. Pick a time, first thing in the morning, early evening, and stick to it. Sit calmly for 5 minutes. No scrolling through dramatic Facebook posts. Arm on a table, feet flat. No chit-chat during the reading. This daily ritual paints an honest picture. Keep a log, old-school paper, or a fancy app, and bring it to every doctor's visit. This makes your appointments way more productive. Now, some folks avoid monitoring because they're scared of what they'll see. What if it's high? I'll just stress more. But here's the deal. Ignorance is not bliss when it comes to blood pressure. Ignoring it just gives problems more time to fester. Awareness is your first step to improvement. And with blood pressure, catching things early is everything. Checking your BP isn't just a chore, it's a regular chat with your body. And like any good chat, it works best when it's regular, calm, and caring. Make it a habit. Make it a priority. Your future self will thank you profusely. All right, let's tackle mistake number 4, letting stress be the boss of you. Stress isn't just a feeling in your head. It's something your whole body carries. And while we often point fingers at diet or lazing about, chronic, unmanaged stress is a hugely underestimated villain in the high blood pressure saga. For seniors, letting stress simmer away untreated doesn't just mess with your mood and sleep. It quietly, persistently cranks up your blood pressure day in, day out. You see, stress hits the body's fight or flight panic button, flooding you with hormones like adrenaline and cortisol. These party crashers temporarily raise blood pressure by constricting blood vessels and making your heart race. Fine for escaping a very slow, saber-toothed tiger, but when stress becomes your daily companion instead of a rare visitor, your body stays in this red alert state. Arteries stay tight, heart works harder, and that constant pressure? It causes damage that medication alone can't always magically fix. The tricky bit? Stress is a master of disguise. It doesn't always show up as a full-blown meltdown. Sometimes it's that subtle ache in your shoulders, a tight chest, a night spent wrestling with your pillow, or just a quiet, heavy feeling of being swamped. And because many of us come from generations taught to suck it up, buttercup, or keep a stiff upper lip, it's easy to downplay these feelings or pretend they're not there. But ignoring stress is like ignoring a leaky tap. It doesn't stop the drip, it just gives it more time to make a mess, draining your energy, shortening your fuse, and sneakily spiking your blood pressure. The fantastic news? You don't need a Zen Master certificate or expensive therapy to manage stress, though those can be nice. It starts with small, intentional actions that tell your nervous system, okay, you can stand down now. Deep breathing? Sounds too simple, but it slows your heart rate and relaxes blood vessels like a charm. Gentle movement, a walk, some yoga, even share yoga counts, or stretching, releases tension and boosts those lovely mood-lifting endorphins. Quiet time in nature, listening to calming music, or practicing gratitude. Yes, even for the fact that your neighbor's noisy dog is finally quiet, can reset that stress response. Even just chatting with a friend or expressing your emotions can lighten the load. The key is to build a habit of daily stress care. Not just reacting when you're about to blow a gasket, but creating little routines that give your mind and body a breather. Think of it like dental hygiene. You don't just brush when your tooth aches, right? Well, hopefully not. It's about preventing problems. And if you've been living with stress as your roommate for years, be kind to yourself. This isn't about blame. It's about seeing where change is possible one tiny step at a time. When you make space for calm, your body listens, not just your mind, but your blood pressure, your sleep, your digestion. Stress might be invisible, but its effects are real. And the power to manage it? It's always within reach. One breath, one walk, one moment of nope, not dealing with that right now at a time. Moving on to mistake number 5, underestimating the power of, well, not moving. Or, as I like to call it, the sedentary sneak up. When it comes to blood pressure, what you don't do can be just as crucial as what you do. One of the most overlooked, yet super impactful, mistakes is ignoring physical inactivity. Basically, sitting on your royal throne too much, moving too little, and thinking rest is always best. Now, rest is great, essential even, but a chronic lack of movement can slowly, quietly, send your blood pressure climbing and make your heart work much harder than it wants to. Physical activity is like a tune-up for your heart. It strengthens it, so it pumps more blood with less effort. Less effort means less force on your arteries. Bingo! Healthier numbers. Exercise also boosts circulation, fights inflammation, helps with weight, and zaps stress. All big wins for your cardiovascular system. But when movement takes a permanent vacation from your life, your body starts to lose its get up and go. Muscles weaken, circulation slows, and that pressure inside your blood vessels starts to creep up. Now, for many seniors, the issue isn't a lack of desire, it's genuine concerns. Joint pain, fatigue, fear of falling. These can make exercise sound like a four-letter word. But here's the good news. Physical activity doesn't need to be an Olympic sport to be effective. Even light movement, done consistently, is gold. A daily stroll, even if it's just to the end of the driveway and back to show the squirrels who's boss. Some morning stretches or gentle chair exercises while you're catching up on your favorite show. It all helps. In fact, one of the most potent changes? Simply sit less. If you're a champion TV watcher or an avid reader, set a reminder to stand up every 30 to 60 minutes. March in place. Walk to the kitchen for water, not cookies. Do a few shoulder rolls. These microbursts break up those long sitting spells that can make arteries stiff and cranky. Consistency is king here. Moving your body regularly sends a memo to your heart, blood vessels, and brain. Still in the game, still active, still strong. And eventually, that message becomes reality. Find movement you actually like. Is it dancing in your living room when no one's watching? Potting plants? Water aerobics where you can gossip at the same time? A simple stretching routine with the sunrise? When it feels like a treat, not a punishment, you'll stick with it. Unsure where to start? Chat with your doctor or a physical therapist. They can help you find safe, appropriate ways to get moving. Remember, this isn't about becoming a fitness model. It's about staying independent, keeping your balance, and giving your heart the backup it needs to serve you well for years. Ignoring inactivity might feel harmless, but it's like letting your car sit in the garage and rust. Movement is medicine. Every step is a step toward lower BP and a stronger, more confident you. Go on, show that couch who's boss. All right, let's talk about mistake number 6, going a bit overboard with caffeine or alcohol. That morning cup of don't talk to me yet coffee, that evening glass of finally wine. These are beloved rituals for many, and in true moderation, they can be just fine, comforting even. But for us seniors navigating the thrilling waters of high blood pressure, overdoing it with these popular potions is a mistake that often flies completely under the radar. They seem innocent, but they can quietly nudge up your blood pressure, play havoc with your medications, and generally cause more trouble than they're worth. Let's start with caffeine, our beloved stimulant found in coffee, tea, some soft drinks, those mysterious energy drinks, and even chocolate. Caffeine basically tells your blood vessels to tighten up and your heart to pick up the pace, both of which can give your blood pressure a temporary, unwelcome lift. For some, this effect is mild and fleeting. But for others, especially those already wrestling with hypertension or who are extra sensitive to stimulants, even a modest dose can send blood pressure into the zone. The tricky part? It's wildly different for everyone. One person's gentle morning nudge is another person's express train to Jitterville, complete with BP spikes that can last for hours, often without them even noticing. The key is self-awareness. If you're a caffeine connoisseur, pay attention. Maybe check your BP before and after your usual fix. If you spot a pattern of higher readings, or get headaches, feel jittery, or your heart does a drum solo, it might be time to dial it back or explore the wonderful world of decaf. You don't have to banish your beloved brew entirely. Just make heart-smart tweaks. Now, alcohol. It's a different beast. In small sips, it might seem to help you unwind. But in larger or more frequent doses, alcohol actually raises blood pressure and can seriously mess with how well your hypertension meds work. It also loves to contribute to dehydration, crummy sleep, weight gain, and emotional stress. All things your blood pressure absolutely detests. For seniors, whose bodies often process alcohol more slowly, like a vintage computer trying to load a modern web page, these effects can be amplified and stick around longer. More than one alcoholic drink a day can start to tip the scales from occasional treat to chronic risk. And mixing booze with BP meds? That can lead to a whole carnival of unpleasant side effects like dizziness, confusion, and liver strain. Even more so if other meds are in the mix. The good news? Even small cutbacks can make a real difference. Lower BP readings, better ZZZs, more stable energy. And giving up or cutting down on coffee or wine doesn't mean a life devoid of comforting beverages. Explore herbal teas. Chamomile, mint, rooibos are lovely. Warm lemon water? Surprisingly nice. Or get fancy with sparkling water and fresh fruit. These swaps offer that same ritualistic comfort without the unwelcome sidekicks. Ultimately, this isn't about a long list of don'ts. It's about intention. Knowing how caffeine and alcohol affect your body empowers you to make choices that champion not just your blood pressure, but your overall glorious health and quality of life. Your heart isn't asking for perfection, just a bit of thoughtful care. Each balanced choice is a step towards a stronger, steadier you. You've got this. And finally, we arrive at mistake number 7, the communication blackout with your healthcare providers. When you're managing high blood pressure, your support system is as vital as the right meds or diet. And who's the captain of that support team? Your doctor. Yet, one of the most common and totally avoidable slip-ups is not keeping those lines of communication wide open, skipping appointments, clamming up about symptoms, or just assuming everything's probably fine. This radio silence can lead to missed opportunities and overlooked warning signs. Your doctor is brilliant, but they're not actually psychic, though that would make appointments much quicker, wouldn't it? It's easy to fall into the just renew the prescription, show up once a year trap. But blood pressure isn't a set it and forget it deal. It's a fickle beast influenced by stress, activity, sleep, diet, other meds, even the darn seasons. If your doctor doesn't have the full scoop on how you're really feeling or what's going on day to day, they're working with one hand tied behind their back. It makes it harder to spot trouble early or fine-tune your treatment. Many seniors hold back. Fear of seeming like a whiny patient, being judged, or just bothering the busy doctor. But listen, no concern is too small if it affects your health. Unusual dizziness? A side effect you're valiantly toughing out? That new miracle supplement your neighbor swore by? A big change in your routine? Spill the beans. This info helps your provider keep your care plan safe and super effective. Medication side effects, in particular, are massively underreported. Some folks just stop their pills because they feel crummy, but never tell their doctor. This is a recipe for uncontrolled BP and potential disaster. A quick chat could lead to a dosage tweak, a different med, or lifestyle tips that make a world of difference. Those home blood pressure readings. They're not just for your personal amusement. Bring your log. Share it. Seeing the trend, not just one isolated number, lets your provider see what's working and what's not. And don't forget your mental and emotional health. Stress, loneliness, depression, these can all send BP soaring. Your provider might have resources, referrals, or support group ideas. Blood pressure isn't just a number. It's a reflection of how your body is navigating life. Now you've had the grand tour of the 7 most common, often invisible, mistakes. And more importantly, you've got the know-how to sidestep them. From medication mindfulness and sodium smarts to staying active, taming stress, buddying up with your healthcare provider, and making sensible sips. These are all doable, realistic changes. No life overhaul required. Just a commitment to care for yourself with a bit more consistency and a dash more intention.